Welcome back to the Cinema Sessions. My name is Keith, and as always, I'm joined by
Seamus. Hello.
This week we're talking about Phone Booth, directed by Joel Schumacher and starring Colin Farrell. A film that taken one of the simplest setups imaginable and stretches it out to its breaking point. A man answers a ringing phone in a New York phone booth and can't hang up. What follows is a real-time thriller built almost entirely on tension, performance, and one very, very bad situation getting worse by the second. Is it a masterclass in minimal storytelling, or is it just a gimmick that somewhat pays off? Let's get into it. That's better.
There you go.
I fluffed the end, but instead of giving up, I just went.
You just went for it.
Yeah, because I can't keep doing that 5 times. That breaks my soul. And then editing that out is a nightmare.
Fair enough. So here we are.
Phone booth.
Yeah, another Irish connection in this.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher was in Ireland once, so that's the connection. He actually was. I worked in a... What would you call it? I worked unloading trucks basically for the summer when I was 18, and there was a fella there he was a real, he called himself the king. He was like a kind of an owl lad who was very, let's say he could talk anyway. And he kept banging on, and I was like, Josh, and he just kept saying like Joel Schumacher, but he'd say it so quick, and I was like, oh, like Michael Schumacher, the race car driver. I just assumed that's who he was talking about. But then he goes, so what are you up to? And I'm like, well, next year I'm going into a film course. Film? Do you know I met Joel Schumacher? He was just standing out the back there, and I was like, all right, yeah, because I still hadn't fucking caught that he was talking about the film director. And he was over here directing Veronica Gear, and I was like,
did he direct Veronica Gear?
He did, yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Mad into, yeah.
He
was a real jack of all trades kind of a director, yeah.
Yeah, more of a director for hire probably than...
Kind of, yeah. He's an interesting guy, actually. This film,
mental.
Yeah, he was an impressive director, yeah. But he was here. He said, and he met him. He said he was a lovely guy. Had a nice chat with him.
Did he have sex with him?
Yeah. He's one of the 5 men Joel Schumacher met in his life who he didn't have sex with.
We read a fact that Joel Schumacher had sex with between 10 and 20,000 men in his lifetime,
which is a big margin of error. Just
like, was it 10,001 or 19,099? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, at a certain point.
But that guy you were walking with, the king, didn't get any.
I wouldn't have imagined so, but at that stage, Joel Schumacher was a silver fox himself. So who knows? He didn't go into it anyway, if you'll forgive the way I express myself. But yeah, he directed Veronica Gear.
That's mental, because I had no clue.
Which was a weird film for Hollywood to do anyway, about an... I know it was now obviously for Irish people. For anyone who doesn't know, she was an Irish journalist who was killed by organised crime or...
What's the name? Gilligan?
Yeah, she was killed by... She was an investigative journalist who was killed by... our version of the mafia or whatever you want to fucking call it here, yeah. Great story, very brave woman, but I was still
very
surprised.
Very well played though.
I never saw that. Itself. I never saw it.
You never seen it, no?
No,
it's because you'll often hear, and probably on this podcast as well, we hate when people try to do Irish accents, like, you know what I mean? Because they don't tend to get them right. But Kate Blanchett is fucking almost spot on. She's like James McAvoy and Inside I'm Dancing. Like, it's just perfect. Like,
that was another one of those weird ones. If you remember, that was the era of like Armageddon and Deep Impact. There was another film made at nearly exactly the same time with Joan Allen, I want to say. She's the wife in Face Off. And she played Veronica Gear. And I think it was made for Sky or something like that. I can't really... It was definitely made. I'm pretty sure it was her. But it wasn't... Veronica Guerin was fairly big budget kind of Hollywood thing, and I think it was a made for TV thing.
Joel Schumacher knocking about Dublin in the flats and all. Like,
I know.
It's mental.
Wouldn't that have been a sight to see? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You get us howling there.
But no, you won't get any argument here. So the film we're talking about today is the real Irish connection is Colin Farrell is in it. It's Phone Booth, which is a psychological thriller film from 2002, directed by promiscuous man Joel Schumacher and written by Larry Cohen, who's a big B-movie guy, Larry Cohen. Starring Colin Farrell, Forrest Whitaker, Katie Holmes, Radha Mitchell and Kiefer Sutherland, the film follows Stu Shepard, a slick New York publicist who answers a ringing payphone and finds himself trapped inside the booth by a sniper who threatens to kill him if he hangs up. As police surround the scene and the caller forces Stu to confront his lies and moral failings, the situation becomes an increasingly tense public standoff. The film has a 7.1 rating on IMDb with a Metacritic critic score of 56 and a user score of 6.8. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 72% and an audience score of 64%. It grossed approximately 97.8 million worldwide against a budget of around 11 million. And on a personal note, folks, any woman who would call you up is an agent of the state and you should sever communications immediately. So I saw this. There was a big kerfuffle about this when it came out because of the premise. It was like, oh wow, it's a movie and it's
only in a phone booth.
Yeah, and I remember reading about it before it was. I remember even reading like rumors about it.
I think this was the first adult film I saw in the cinema.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I definitely saw it in the cinema, but I would have been very young.
Well, that's one of the things I was watching it. It must have been made on the very tail end of when they made films. Like adults, when like if this were made nowadays, it'd be does he have to say fuck? No, he doesn't. I don't think he has to say that because that's really the only thing
cursing.
in it. Yeah, some cursing. And I'm not. I love it when films do that. I've no problem with it. But it's just one of those things where I was kind of surprised there was swearing in it because I hadn't kind of remembered. Now over here, it's not as big of a death. In the box office thing to get the higher rating. Would have been 15s here or something like that, I think. But yeah, I was kind of half surprised, but nowadays it'd just be like, oh, do they have to use so many cuss words? And really, you saw it in the cinema then?
Yeah. Way back, I was fucking 12 or something maybe. Like young, like.
Sneaking in or?
Yeah, but would have been,
15s. You'd be much of a muchness, Interesting. Yeah, I saw it. I must have just seen it on DVD when it came out. But I remember there being a buzz about it because of the premise and, it was Hitchcocky and like it's all set in one location. They made it quickly.
But that is, I must say, coming in at the start, that's give someone no space and I'm all over that. If you can achieve that, like I'm all for it. I love one. Like you ever see Whitney, Illinois? It takes place in this fucking apartment, basically. Like, do you know what I mean? Large parts of it. I fucking love that. If you can make that interesting, that's because that's hard. Anybody like everything's hard about making a film, and there's no easy jobs. But being able to have massive set pieces and this, that, and the other thing is a lot easier than something like this. And that's where I think the real kind of craft comes into filmmaking is when you give someone nothing to do, essentially, and make it entertaining. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
well, it's very the two Hitchcock films that I suppose you compare to are Rope and one he did called Lifeboat. Don't know if you ever saw them. Rope is the more kind of scene of them.
Yeah, I'd seen Rope. Yeah.
The thing is, you always read about Lifeboat as in like, oh, it's this weird film he made. It was like this huge release when it was out. It had this huge star in it. It did really big budget, even though it's set in one fucking lifeboat. So it's kind of mentioned as if it was this experiment he did, but which it kind of is now. Don't get me wrong, but it's still like it was a big release. It wasn't just like,
like an indie
I'll do this in the middle of, it was a big thing. It's really good. He was so ahead of his time, Hitchcock. But, but we digress.
Hamstrung by the fucking Hays Code.
Shocking. Yeah, that's Tarantino's take.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Yeah, I do always find with Hitchcock's films, even like Psycho, they really just, it's like, did you just give up at the ending? Like,
yeah. But like the thing about Psycho stands up, like,
it does, big time, yeah.
For a film that was 1960, and black and white and long as well, but it's so fucking entertaining. Like,
well, he did a film from, I'm going to be the hipster guy and say my favorite of his is one called Shadow of a Doubt, and like there's bits in that would still be shocking today if it were in a film. It's about this misogynist who murders women. And he has two monologues in it, and even if they're in a film today, you'd be like, Jesus, that's a bit fucking rough, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just a podcast today.
That's true, that's true. He'd be some bro podcaster.
Yeah. Another white guy with a podcast. That's the white guy with a podcast.
The other thing that was a big buzz about this film was Colin Farrell. Like, he was
this was put him on the map, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he did Tigerland for Joel Schumacher before this. Now, I am just also going to point out, now the audience is free to put together what we said at the start of the podcast and what I'm about to say now. Colin Farrell and Matthew McConaughey were both given starring roles in Joel Schumacher films before anyone had any fucking clue who they had heard of, and they became massive stars. Now, they became massive stars because they're charismatic and very good actors. And I forgot what I was going to say, frankly. Maybe I was implying something there. I don't know. But he had a good eye for the fellas back then.
Yeah.
If you look at some of his stuff, like in the 80s, like Lost, like Kiefer Sutherland, I think had been around before that. But like, look, credit where it's due. Matthew McConaughey is still kind of A level. And
what's Matthew McConaughey in?
Oh, he's Time to Kill.
Ah, yeah.
See, that's
another one. That's what?
Yeah, you wouldn't think that's a Joel Schumacher one, yeah.
Because I mean, I suppose he's a victim to Batman and Robin, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Jesus, yeah.
It's just that over the fucking top, like, that's when I think of Joel Schumacher, that's what I think of, like, his legacy is tarnished, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a shame, yeah. He
like, so bad. Like, I don't even think he did Batman Forever as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Batman Forever is not terrible.
He did. What's that one? The Jim Carrey one, number 23. That was him as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was a bit of a mad one as well.
He did 8mm, Nick Cage.
8mm?
Falling Down.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, he did. What was it? Flatliners, which wasn't it Dougal or Father Jack watching that and Father Ted ones? What are you watching there, Father? Is that Flatliners? What? He did a rake of fucking. He was very eclectic,
shit,
like
man.
his style. Yeah, he just seemed to be able to get things going, like as well.
He's probably like Clint Eastwood. He's always on time and under budget or something, like. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah. Well, that's what really. Now, spoiler alert for my take on this. I thought this film was really pretty good. I didn't think it was electrifying or anything, but it was pretty good.
No, so I mean, the whole premise is like, obviously he answers the phone and. Like, I mean, it's hard to know where to go from here because he answers the phone and there's just talking.
Well, what was nice about it was, I'm sorry, I kind of glossed over it there. Like, Colin Farrell and like, as Irish people, we were so proud of him. Like, so, Jesus, and like, he was like, kind of held as like, this is like an old time movie star, like living today. And I'd forgotten how brilliant he is. Like, he really holds the film in this.
It's very good, yeah. Bit of a dodgy accent.
Oh. I thought the accent was good, actually.
I see, at times it is, but I think at times it isn't. It's not consistent throughout.
You've more of an ear for I have a terrible ear.
Like,
as anyone who knows me will tell you I have a terrible ear.
Yeah. But no, it's not bad, like. But I'd imagine that an American might go, what language is he speaking?
Okay,
like, do you know what I mean?
Enough, yeah.
It might sound American to us, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I just saw he was, and I remember like it wasn't that I went off him, but I didn't see him for a few years, and then I saw him in he kind of a big supporting role in that film Saving Mr. Banks, and he was brilliant in that. Like, he's a really good actor, very charismatic, real movie star. He had a thing at the time where he'd be. I think this was one of the few films he did that was actually like a hit because he was kind of famous for never losing his star power, but he was in all these
like
basically flops, like
fucking, is that
but
that
now,
one? That was the big one, wasn't it?
Now I look back and all I can see is I can't think of any of the flops. I'm like Minority Report, SWAT, which is kind of a hit, and this, and I'm like, what else is he in? I can't fucking remember.
Yeah.
He was in Tigerland, was the Joel Schumacher one that he did, which
I think I've seen that.
I never took to it now, but he was good in it. Like, and he did like he was playing a Texan in it, I want to say, or something like that. But yeah, it was nice seeing him young, fucking in his prime. I did see him in real life once at where the fuck? Why was I there? It was him. Yeah, him and Brendan Gleeson. Sorry, I was mixing.
In Bruges or something, was it?
Yeah, it was in Bruges. Yeah, because I remember he looked exactly like he looked in Miami Vice when he was at the fucking thing, and I think he must have just been off finishing that or something.
That was such a bad film.
Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me fucking. And there's people on the internet who will tell you that's the greatest masterpiece ever made.
Fuck off. But the thing about it is true what they say about Colin. Like, if that, because we talk about misogyny, right? If that was a woman, she'd never walk again. Like, if she had that many fucking.
Oh yeah. Well, there was something about him where it just didn't seem. He was like, if he'll forgive me for the comparison, he was like Donald Trump. Like, just it was Teflon.
It was infallible. Yeah.
It was, and there was even a bit of an entourage about him where I think the guy, the lawyer, the agent guy goes, look at Colin Farrell. He's flop after flop, but he walks and he talks like a star. And he did. He was so charismatic and funny, and everyone, not in an obnoxious way as well. Now I think he wasn't at the booze got him or something, or I think
he was. He had his troubles.
Yeah,
I think it was booze, but God knows what else. Like,
yeah, and like, look, he. Like, as naive as it sounds,
he had a porno.
Like a fella. Yeah, that's right. I didn't see it. No. A friend of mine, he's constantly narrating, is what I heard.
I've not. I don't think I've ever clicked on it myself, but it's been part of an array of things on the screen.
I think I've seen him on like Graham Norton talking about it or something.
Yeah.
He seems like a good lad. Like, who the fuck knows? But it was nice.
I like his little renaissance he's having now currently, because he has kind of come back now again. It's flop after flop, really. But he's going to change. I don't think Colin Farrell now is sober. Colin Farrell can play this character.
Oh, this guy in the
This
phone booth.
Stu Shepherd. He's an
Yeah.
absolute, obviously, arsehole.
Yeah.
And he's meant to be. This kind of fucking hotshot publicist guy. Who it's kind of vague whether he is actually good at his job or not. Like, do you know what I mean? But I genuinely think, now, obviously he's a great actor. Maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I just think he'd struggle with his character now. Whereas he wouldn't have at the time.
He was more in touch with the...
Yeah.
Well,
probably more aligned with Stu Shepherd then.
Yeah, I listened to the commentary and Joel Schumacher was kind of like, Colin, he likes the nightlife. We had very early days, and I was like, I think he's saying this was a bit difficult. Like he got through it, like, because it was 11 days or something they filmed it in. Very impressive. But I got the kind of vibe that he was like, I would have rathered he didn't show up hungover to bits and, and fucking all this, like, But you wouldn't really know from looking. He looks fucking great.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, but full disclosure, I'm hungover right now, and this is a struggle. So I can only imagine what turning up to set would be.
Well, he was.
If you had a starter,
I
maybe
remember looking it up. He would have been about 26, and it kind of rolls off your back a bit easier.
Yeah.
About that, but he looks great.
26.
Yeah, he was very young. Yeah. He'd only be 50 or so now, I think. Yeah, he's still got a good innings ahead of him.
What's that most recent one that he had? It was a weird one.
Jeez, I don't know. The last I remember, and I still haven't seen his Banshees of Inisheer. And I remember
it's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I keep hearing good things.
It's about he's a gambler, but he's a con man. Like, it's fucking deadly. It was very good. Now maybe it wasn't that good. I can't remember the fucking thing about
Jamie,
it.
what a
Ballad of a Small Player.
Ballad of a Small Player.
Jeez,
it's all about Eastern fucking... Because he's in Macau.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I saw it and I remember that was another one where I think, I saw the preview on Netflix and I was like, they're not speaking Cantonese. Get that shit off my fucking screen. I have a thing about that, sorry. It's probably very good.
So do they speak Cantonese in Macau?
They do, yeah, in general. Now, in casinos, it is a bit of a different thing because they're so catered to mainland Chinese guests. It was very disillusioning because you hear about these casinos in Macau, and what people would do is they go to Macau from Hong Kong. Sorry, folks, I lived in Hong Kong. And you'd leave and you come back to activate your... Yeah, as someone said, what a wanker, because I mentioned I lived in the place. And you go to Macau and I was like, right, I'll be there for a few hours. I'll go into a casino. And I had this, I swear, I was so naive. I was like, I had notions of like De Niro and Pesci in their suits. And I walk into a casino. The first thing I see is a guy in cargo shorts, no shoes on, no socks, feet up on the thing, wearing a wife beater with like a toothpick in his mouth. And I was
You've been to Macau?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's dope. That is dope. That's one of them places that I'd love to go, but I don't know if I ever will. Like, do you know what I mean?
You're not. Look, if you're into casinos and gambling and all that, and there's some good. Like, there's a big Hard Rock cafe, like bar there and all this. But like as a place, it's tiny. Like, there's 2 ferry ports on it once, and we were at a bachelor party, and we went to one at like 10 to 6, and it was full, and we hopped in a taxi. Went to the other ferry port, which you'd imagine must be far away on the island, because it's like, why would there be 2 of them? And we made the 6 o'clock one and the other one. Like, the fucking place is tiny. And there's people who live there. It's like, it's the size of Dublin or something, like the whole place. Fucking tell me if I'm wrong, Internet. There's fellas living on it because it was a Portuguese colony. There's people living there who speak nothing but Portuguese. 90% of the people don't speak it. And no one in Hong Kong speaks Portuguese. I'm like, that must be fucking lonely. I don't know. Yeah. I found it's very, very, it's an odd place, but it's nice. I only visit it maybe once or twice at a time, to be honest. If you're into gambling now, the casinos are...
I just love the debauchery that comes with that type of life. Like, you know what I mean?
There's a slight bit of that.
I'd be lying if I didn't tell me that just completely intrigues me. Like, you know what I mean? I love it.
There you go. Well,
every now and again, my life is just a series of masking tape holding it together, so I can go out on these mad, chaotic nights once every couple of months.
You can have 1 or 2 of them in Macau. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I think Hong Kong, the nightlife has taken a bit of a dip since someone pleasant.
Since you left.
That must be it. Yeah. There was no coincidence the place died. But we horribly digress. So in this film, it starts off with bits that I think they shot in half a day, showing kind of Colin Farrell's character and like, kind of what he's like. And plays it very well. He's a real wheeler dealer.
You completely believe him. Like, you know what I mean? It's very well directed. It's very well performed. It's like, you can't fault it. Like,
and you get the idea like he's pretty good at what he does, but you get the idea that he isn't like massively successful.
Yeah, see, that was a bit more unclear to me. Like, I was like, is he good or is he crap? Is he like... Is he pretending? Is that the big con? He's conning himself, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems to be able to kind of get what he wants, but he doesn't seem to ever be able to kind of break through. And, you know, like he just, like, again, it's kind of curious. I wonder how old he's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? He has a young assistant who probably in reality is no younger than Colin Farrell was at the time.
Yeah. That's probably why he gave him the beard.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, just make him look a bit old. Because he would have looked a baby, like, do you know what I mean, without the beard.
He would have done, I want to say Tigerland. Jeez, I can't remember, so long since I saw it. But he was meant to be very young, and he was meant to be, it's set in the training. There's like, you go to your basic training or something. It was a pre-Vietnam film, like, so it was a training for Vietnam film. I think it's set like in this last kind of, you know, this is the last bit of real kind of training that you do. He was meant to be very young in that. But he's definitely a sleaze, basically. He's a bit of an arsehole, but you kind of can't help but he's not off-putting either.
He's affable. There's something about him, like, you know what I mean?
He's charming, do you know? This is why you need a Colin Farrell type, you know? Yeah. So now, okay, so the premise of the film is someone's going to call him up, and what would you say? Like, this guy is he's a real fucking arsehole, this caller, the Kiefer Sutherland character, who's only ever a voice. I remember actually Joel Schumacher, who's a director who he's very visually good. If you watch like I got to see the Lost Boys once in the IFI here, and they showed a print of it. It was like 20 years ago, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, he's fucking brilliant. So the film is very well made. But I remember I listened actually to a commentary. He directed a few episodes of the House of Cards thing, the Kevin Spacey show, and all of his insight, which is a really weird show if you really think about it. And his insight, I remember, was, I think the reason people really like this show is, you know, Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright, their characters really love each other. There's a real depth to the relationship. And I'm like,
that's what you took away from it?
That's it. Like, that's all you're going to give us. And in this, on the commentary, which is mostly just, we shot it like this, we did like this, which is fine. He goes, some people think that he doesn't deserve this, Stu, like with the caller. But I think that's because, you know, we are willing to overlook these things in our day-to-day lives, and they're always there. And I'm like,
that's the thing.
There's objectively much worse people.
Yeah. And which he alludes to, you hear, because he answers the phone. He's in the phone booth to bring his missus on the side.
Yeah.
That's
who he hasn't even fucking banged yet.
No, he's trying to get her into the hotel and all. He takes off his wedding ring because he's a proper fucking sleaze. Yeah. And
I think that points to a decency.
You just want to tarnish it or something.
Moral decency, yeah.
Yeah, but and anyway, so that's how he's in the thing. And obviously, he's leaving, the phone rings, Kiefer Sutherland's character answers.
Yeah.
I have an issue here, definitely, with he's committing adultery or potentially committing adultery, right? He's emotionally cheated. He hasn't actually cheated, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
which is just as wrong, ladies.
Yes. When Kiefer Sutherland is explaining,
I'm a feminist.
When Kiefer Sutherland is explaining, you maybe you've heard about this guy who got shot. He was a porn king. He was trafficking girls or something. And then the other fella was a pedophile, or no, the other fella was a stock guy. Robbed money.
Yeah.
Like, they're both objectionably a lot worse than ringing some mot on the side. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If he'd have been like watching him and he's like, if he bangs that one, I'll tell you. Now I'll get him in that phone booth, I tell you. But it's like, I suppose the argument would be for some reason he sees Stu as like redeemable or something, and that's the argument. But it is just, it's sorry, Joel, wherever you are, it's a little OTT to do this to the poor man.
Yeah,
and
100%. Like,
maybe he would have chickened out in the hotel. Like, who knows? Yeah.
Now, question about Kiefer Sutherland. What personality type do you think he's playing?
It's a good question. I actually found myself thinking that.
I'm not clear. Because he's psychopath, is it sociopathy? Like, I can't put my finger on it because he's too, at times, maybe it's because you don't see him. But like when he's laughing and all, it kind of strikes me, that's someone that has some sort of feeling of something.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Whereas, but I mean, have you ever heard them laughs in fucking No Country for Old Men? But because you see him, you can tell that he's dead inside. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of the way they talked about him, like in the behind the scenes, was how, and I was thinking, was it a little inspired by the killer in Seven? I remember in Seven that I always say, "Oh, the killer." Yeah, I won't give away who it is because it's a known actor who shows up at the end, but he's someone who cannot look away, who won't give in to apathy. And I was like, are they going for that? But then, as you say, he's fucking having the crack with him and he's joking around. Like, they call him John Doe in Seven. So as I say, I don't want to kind of spoil anything. But Yeah, John Doe has no sense of humor about this.
No.
He's not having the crack, and he's not like enjoying playing with people. Now the film, it needs to keep going. If he was just like monotone on the phone all the time, he'd be like, fucking turn this off. But yeah, it's an excellent question. Yeah.
Because I think I do, for a performance that's not on screen, I think it's very good. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I mean, it's essentially a vocal performance. Like, it's not like Hollow Man and he's on set. Like, do you know what I mean? He wouldn't have been there. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think in that, but it's just I'm unclear. And maybe it's poor direction. Maybe it's I don't know. But I'm very unclear on what he's actually playing. Like, do you know what I mean?
Struck me as something Joel Schumacher would just be like, make it exciting. As opposed to here's a consistent idea, and it works in that regard. It strikes
it's definitely entertaining. Like,
yeah, well, you hear sometimes about these directors who workshop things, and eventually, like after 3 months, they're like, "Oh no!" After digging, there's just nothing there. I'm not going to be able to make the film. Joel Schumacher doesn't strike me as someone who's like that. He's just like, "Oh, this will be good."
Yeah.
Oh, be like laugh at it. No, really push him here, and it's when he shows up at the end. Yeah, they seem to be going for. You wouldn't notice them in a crowd kind of a thing. And I'm like, yeah, it never quite, now that you mention it now, it never quite, like it carries the film well enough, but there's no psychology to it or there's no...
And that's what I wanted to follow up with, right? In your opinion, what makes a thriller psychological?
Good question.
Because I mean... You hear this all the time, cerebral and all these words. Like, what the fuck do they mean? Like,
well, I think it's not unfair to call this their AI generated. But like, he is kind of mentally tortured and he's like put through the ringer. It's not like fucking. The one I always come back to, I don't know why. When I talk about thrillers, I talk about that one with Tom Cruise, The Firm, which is more like ABC, like they're threatening this, whereas this is. He is like mentally and emotionally kind of abused by him. So I suppose that's where, but like I wouldn't call this cerebral by any fucking stretch. But no, it's an excellent point, and I think it is one of the reasons this isn't like it could have been a real classic. This because it's a good, but I just think if they had paid more attention and cared a bit more about like why is he really doing this and who is he? Yeah,
realistically, given because the film is relatively good. And performances all around are relatively good, but I just can't help but think there's a missed opportunity that we're not talking about Kiefer Sutherland's performance in this off screen as one of the best.
True, yeah.
And we should be. It feels like we should be.
Yeah,
like.
It's just to keep things interesting in the moment. That's how the character's written. Because, like, for example, now he killed. The reason it becomes a standoff with the police is he kills someone who was not. Although the guy was a pimp, so I suppose by Kiefer Sutherland's fucking metric.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah.
But it was. He just says. He just kills him, like, and he probably hadn't investigated that guy.
And I don't know, again, we're kind of jumping around, but when they shoot him and then they put a chalk outline around him, like,
I was laughing at that actually.
Seriously, like, do you know what I mean?
And
for anybody
they won't do it because they're afraid Colin Farrell has a gun, but they take the time to do a chalk outline.
But for anybody who doesn't know, that's a myth. They don't put chalk outlines around bodies, no matter what, because. But you contaminate the scene, like, do you know what I mean? You can't.
Where did that start then?
I don't know. It must have been. It's definitely. I've seen it in films from 1900 Splash. So
yeah,
like
it's just one of those things. It is kind of a brilliant idea. Did you ever? When you said it the second, I thought, you know, when Coming to America, when they go into the real shitty room and there's a chalk outline of a guy and a dog, and the guy's like, damn shame what they did to that dog. Oh, what a fucking movie. But actually, so that's the guy, that's kind of the pimp guy gets killed. Before he comes into it, there's an actress in it who I was like, she nearly steals the fucking show.
She's unfucking believable.
And I forgot to check her fucking name, like in Egypt. But she is so funny. And
what's her name, Kieran?
But she's like, oh, you just broke my dick hand. And she is so fucking funny, that one.
And I'm not... What's her name?
Paula J. Parker.
Paula J. Parker. She's very good. She looks like Taraji P. Henson.
She does a bit, doesn't she? Yeah.
But she's very fucking good in this.
She's great. She's so authentic.
She brings a comic relief element to it, but she's also really just... The way she delivers motherfucker is just unbelievable.
She's great. And she says another word to Colin Farrell that I'm not going to repeat on the podcast, but it begins with the letter N. And apparently Colin Farrell's reaction, where he kind of does a double take, was genuine because he didn't know she was going to say that. And I was at Joel Schumacher says, I don't think a lot of white Irish guys are used to being called that particular word. And no, indeed we're not. Indeed we're not. She's brilliant. And
she's very good.
I was hoping she'd be in it more actually, but at a certain point it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But like even when so obviously she can't get into this is about business and all this. Like she can't get into the phone booth. She needs to make a call. Now,
Yeah.
this strikes me as a bit. Look, just use the phone. There's a strip club there that you're working in. Surely there's a landline. It's
Good point.
2003 or something like it. Surely there's a landline. Like,
oh, that's something we kind of glossed over is like the film is already like they've these tiny little flip phones which seem very out of date now, and the fact that there's any public phones at all, like it's there is actually one in near where I live, and it's such. I'm like, who the fuck uses it? Like,
but they've had a renaissance. They got rid of all the old ones, and now there's new ones.
Jesus. Well, even at the time now, they were saying like this is they have that voiceover that wanted to be like James Earl Jones or something, and it's like there's only one active phone booth left in New York City or something like that. And yeah, you don't. Jeez, they used to be fucking everywhere. Jeez, it was not in that Old Boy, the Josh Brolin Spike Lee remake thing, and there's a bit where they're walking around and he needs a phone. He's like, where are the phone booths? Because it's been locked up for 10 years. Yeah, well, where are they?
Yeah.
Remember the phone cards, or were you too young for that?
No, I remember
used to
phone
collect
cards.
phone cards. and all this,
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
I remember my ma having a load of Garth Brooks ones.
Still making the rounds, Garth Brooks.
Yeah, even though he's a serial killer.
2 years ago or something.
He's a serial killer. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Look that up and please sure to sue us, please, Garth.
Yeah, no. If you listen to there's a podcast called Your Mom's House. Tom Segura and his wife Christina Pajitsky, and they basically put together this. If you look at places he's been, the amount of deaths around that time. Do you know what I mean? This is real. Like, I'm not saying he's done it or anything, but it's a fucking coincidence. Like,
I'm just saying.
Like,
just asking questions like every other podcaster.
And yeah, no, but the internet's ran with this now, and it's everywhere that he's a fucking serial killer. Like,
I could sit here and try and imagine more plausible, more innocent explanations, or we can just leave that in our listeners' imagination and move on. That is interesting, though. Jeez, how did they fucking think to look that up?
It's just Tom Segura doesn't like him. Like, he's too fake, and he says there's something up with you. There's something dark about you.
There's Jimmy Savile kind of things going on or something. Yeah,
it's fucking weird now.
Look up who Jimmy Savile is if you don't know, folks. So this guy gets killed, and then the police, to me, seem to slightly overreact and send like the fucking. Like,
do they overreact though? An active shooter on a New York street.
A lot of them show up at the same time. I don't know. I could be wrong now. I could be completely full of shit. I don't know. New Yorkers can feel free to fucking tell me what's what. But a rake of them show up. But maybe not yet. Actually, I think it's just how quickly it all develops. Because it's basically...
It's real time.
The film is real time, yeah. And I have to say, I was going to say at the start, so Joel Schumacher, if I give him any grief, like the film was shot in like 11 days.
That's some feat.
It never feels like... They were missing, or it never feels rushed. He was a brilliant technical director. Like whatever else you can say. Like I've seen Batman and Robin too, but like when you look at when he's on his game, like everyone loves Falling Down, for example. No, he was brilliant, and like he's a great eye. He got good performances out of people. As I say though, he does strike me as someone make it exciting as opposed to now. What is your character thinking here? Yeah. But look. He didn't make those kind of movies, so fair play to him. Now, soon after this, I have major issues with the Forrest Whitaker character.
What we were speaking about Josh Brolin being a cook last week. Yeah. Like, this fella is just a sad sack of a human being.
There's bits of it. I'd like. So he shows up and he has that guy who's like plays kind of a stern authority figure and everything is like his mate who's like a uniformed cop. And it is like, dude, you don't have to overshare with a fucking potential murderer in a phone. No, he's like, my wife, we broke up and I feel terrible. And you're like, I don't want to know. Like, like, what the fuck, man?
They'll put you out your misery, bang.
Yeah, it's very, very weird how they play that. It just seems like...
And Forrest Whitaker is a card to the table is genuinely one of my favourite actors.
He's amazing.
I think he's truly amazing.
He's brilliant, yeah.
And he's good and he's still good in this. He's playing that role perfectly, but it's what he's being asked to play is just kind of weird. Like, now, I mean, I know hostage negotiators have to be kind of your friend and all this, but he's not that.
No, you can tell.
He's the captain of the
what it
precinct.
Struck me as was they did like the idea was okay. He's kind of a bit down on his look and he's trying to be sympathetic. As like, do a rewrite on it. Like it's too on the fucking nose. Like it's nearly like insert dialogue here, like where he talks about his wife. Like, and even he can't pull it off. Like it's unfortunate, you know, because he is great. Like, and he's generally like quite good in it. But it is just overwritten. That
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Oh my God, like he's just prostrating himself. And all right, man, Jesus Christ. Now then, basically from there to the end, it's very well done, but it's kind of hard sitting here to map out all the different beats.
Yeah, but there's a couple because obviously he shoots him. He sees that he's on the phone and he shoots his ear, right?
Yeah.
Now, which then causes a major issue for me because blood doesn't do that. Do you know what I mean?
You're a logic man after all.
Yeah. But like, whatever about the street coming down, but it turns into this like fucking red stain. Like, and blood does not do that on the skin. Like, do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
It gets crusty and everything. Like, it'll go black, but not a big red. It's like someone put marker on him and he was wiping it off.
Did, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know. I'd like the touch of then he had to keep the phone on the other ear for the whole time as well because he seems to be the right-handed Colin Farrell, so that kind of gives him something to play.
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid, but when your ear isn't actually fucked up, you have to remember, like as an actor, how to do all those things. But yeah, so do you find as well the white guy who shows up, the white police officer, and he's just immediately so aggravated.
From Volcano.
Yes,
that's the guy. He's the racist cop in Volcano.
I fucking knew.
There's a tinge of racist cop in here as well.
That is for something. Maybe they added those characters later because all that stuff is so much weaker than he's just immediately like, "What are you gonna fuck this up again, you asshole?" And he's like, "Shut the fuck up and get the." I was like, Jesus Christ, lads! I know,
but he
New
gives
York,
up. He's so amped up, but he gives up immediately. Like he doesn't actually fight his corner.
Yeah, that's the
like,
thing.
you know?
Yeah, then he's just like,
"Oh, all right, I'll be waiting."
Yeah. I'm going to take this over. No, you're not, you motherfucker. I'll give it some credit because I do like it in films where a guy like him, and they do have him kind of turn good at the end where he's like, all right, to be fair, he kind of decides to help him. But it's nearly comical because he was so OTT like 5 minutes before. He's seriously like, they're screaming at each other and there's news cameras there and everything. I'm like,
that's another thing I had. Like, obviously it's a live situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if all them people would still be standing there with video cameras and everything, like in a real situation.
Yeah, if he really had a gun.
They'd be cleared off the fucking street. Like,
yeah,
they'd close down the block from, like, you know how blocks in New York work? They're about a mile long, like, so that whole street would be closed, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. I know why they did it, like, it's kind of keep it energized and amped up, but it was still like, geez, there'd be some fucking bullets flying if that could happen, like, my God. But
actually, another thing to point out, I do like the fact that they initially think that it's suicide by cop, that he wants them to shoot them. I thought that gave it an extra layer of.
Well, that's how it would look, I suppose.
Everybody's on different wavelengths. Do you know what I mean? And obviously the synergy has to happen where they all come together, which does happen, and the payoff is good.
Yeah, and I was criticising it earlier, but because they got Forrest Whitaker and the way the character's written, it's plausible that he would be someone who's like, isn't just going to take it at face value. Like if it were the white guy, he'd just be like, oh, we got to go in and take him down. Forrest Whitaker plays it and is written as someone who'd be like, hang on, no, that's a bit weird. And like, why is he on that phone? That's a bit odd. And Colin Farrell does have a good line where he's like, who are you talking to? My psychiatrist. And like, that's funny. All right, that's funny. Or did he say psychologist? I can never remember.
I think it's psychiatrist. But what was I going to say there? That's one thing that they don't know he's on the fucking phone, do they? Like, do you know what I mean? How do they?
Oh, I know they start
actually
there.
Yeah. Not initially, like.
Yeah. No, well,
I know they start tracing it.
They do have a thing, and I noticed it never occurred to me when I was watching it, but I noticed this time they have a line in there where it's like, no, we need a warrant to listen in. He's like, okay, but trace it. So it's like, this is why they don't listen in and they don't know who's on the other end. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's grand. Yeah. And he is like, from their point of view, this is just some lunatic who murdered someone. What the fuck, So then I think the next kind of progression is his wife shows up, who's played by the delectable Radha Mitchell, who's someone, every time I see her in a film, I'm always like, yeah, I like her.
You feel it in your loins.
I do indeed, yeah. She's a very good looking woman, Radha Mitchell. She was in Pitch Black. That was kind of her biggest. She was basically, did you ever see that, Pitch Black?
I think so.
It was,
that's the Chronicles of Riddick.
The first one of that.
Yeah,
that's what
really
put Vin Diesel on the map. And she, if you watch that film, she is the main character. Like, there's no question. Riddick was like the star character, but she's the main character.
He only pops up towards the end or something, didn't he? If I remember correctly. I don't remember now.
No, he does. To be fair now, someone will say I'm talking at me hoop. I think he does an open narration. He's in it quite a bit, but she's like the person we start the film with. And it's very good. I watched it not too long ago.
They're famously pretty good considering how bad Vin Diesel films are. Like, you know what I mean?
No, that was legit, like that one. And Chronicles of Riddick, I remember liking it, how ambitious it was. And then they did another one that I thought was just kind of shite.
He's still trying to make his Hannibal epic.
Well, fair play to him. He's an I don't know. He has interesting taste, Vin Diesel, in the projects he chooses. I think that's a nice way. That's a nice way to say it. She's very good. And then we forgot to mention Katie Holmes plays his potential bit on the side. Yeah,
it's just something about Katie Holmes that fucking boils my blood. I don't know what it is. It's just really, I find that really fucking annoying.
Did you watch Dawson's Creek? Was that what you?
No, I didn't see Dawson's Creek. But anything I've seen her in. Like even fucking Batman, I was delighted they got rid of her.
Do you know, I remember, someone checked this out, I remember seeing when they replaced her with Maggie Gyllenhaal, who to be fair is pretty shite in Dark Knight as well. There's just something about, she just didn't fit. She's a very good actress, Maggie Gyllenhaal, but I was like, what is she fucking playing on of him? I remember reading a quote from like a producer, because that was around the time with the Tom Cruise thing, and she was acting a bit weird.
I think it's something to do with that.
Yeah.
See, 'cause when you put your beef in the street like that, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Will Smith. It's like you're a fucking idiot, like, and I feel the same. I'm like that with Katie Holmes, and unfortunately now I have to be like that with Anna de Armas because she's now.
What's she after doing?
She's with Tom Cruise, and I just,
sorry,
I can't help but think that he's. Look, I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise. I think he's great for cinema. I think he's made some fantastic films. I think he's a great actor, but he's a fucking weirdo. Do you know what I mean? And I can't help but think that. It's like everybody can see that he's a weirdo except these women, and it's just I don't know why it's for whatever it is. Maybe the classic misogynist in me is taking it out on Katie Holmes for getting tricked, but there's just something about it I can't watch it.
I can't remember. It was all a bit weird at the time, and as you say, maybe it's kind of a sexist kind of. But I remember one of the producers, I'm pretty sure it was a producer, came out and said, we're quite glad we could get rid of her, essentially. Like, they said something that I was like, Jesus, people don't normally speak like that. They normally just say, well, we had creative differences or scheduling. But I remember someone official, not maybe Chris Nolan, but someone kind of saying, yeah, well, we're better off without her or something. I was like, geez, that's a bit fucking harsh. Because I don't remember it that well. I remember her being okay in it or whatever, but I don't remember much. Batman Begins is way more like a Marvel movie than... have you seen it recently?
No, but the one thing I do remember is it's like he stylized this version of Gotham City and then it just disappears in the next two films.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, there's bits in it where there's like jokes in it and stuff. Like it's quite Marvel-y at times. Now, it's pre-Marvel, I know, but
like when... Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when he's does it come in black and all this type of stuff. Like it's all very wisecracky.
There's a bit where like he's walking through a prison cell after he blows it up, and he goes, "Excuse me." I was like, he didn't do that in fucking Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises.
But the voice did get consistently mental. Like I'll never forget when I sat down to watch The Dark Knight, and all the copycats show up at the start of it, and then he goes, "What's the difference between you and me? I'm not wearing a hockey mask."
Yeah,
and it's like, what?
I thought they did a great job of it because after you do that, if you just have the actor's normal voice, people will notice it. But if I remember, the Ben Affleck one had like a voice alter or something like that, which was kind of a good solution, if nothing else, about those films.
And it's mad to think that we had to get to Robert Pattinson's Batman to actually see the makeup on him.
True, yeah.
And people slated it.
I thought that film was totally fine, about an hour too fucking long, and people being so psyched up for the next one, I just like, that train has sailed with me. I'm just like,
I'm a big Batman fan, I have to be honest. I'm a big Batman fan.
Fair, it was well done, but I am like, why is everyone?
I think Batman is consistently like, because I mean, I don't think Batman films fit into the same genre of like Marvel superhero. I know it might be similar in tone, some of them, but I just think they're actual films, like. Just about all of them, even Tim Burton's, like, do you know what I mean?
I do like them more than your average.
The only one I think is absolutely atrocious is Batman and Robin, and even that I love to watch it. Like I watch that all. Really? I watch that often enough.
I don't think I've ever seen that all the way through. Actually, we horribly digressed because we were talking about Katie Holmes, who's perfectly good in this, I might add. So Radamit just shows up, and pretty soon after that, he makes some kind of fess up to her what he's been up to. Like,
see what I mean? Look at the blood.
Yeah, fair enough. He's not wrong, folks. It's very slick on his ear where it maybe should be crusty over and hardened. But she should, and he makes her quite soon like confess to him, and he's good in those moments. Colin Farrell, like they could have really fallen flat, but he's just basically like. But I am still just like, what is? Come on, like give this guy a fucking break, right?
Yeah, like I mean, he doesn't like. I mean, even but the idea as well, like, see, it kind of does. I suppose we can kind of head towards the end, but because obviously he confesses to Rad Mitchell, and that's what he was asked to do, to come clean.
Yeah,
but it turns out he wasn't going to let him go on anyway.
Yeah, well, essentially, like
he says the line, "No, I was never going to let you go."
She's the one he's really been betrayed, and then but even with his big thing at the end, he never explicitly apologizes to Katie Holmes, he's been fucking over as well, like, and I found that kind of weird because I'm like, then why does he need to confess twice? Because I suppose at the end now is him admitting his whole life is a lie.
Yeah, and
whereas that's more specific, but still,
yeah, but I mean, he kind of does because what's he say? He says something. Please don't take it out on her.
Yeah,
because it was on me. So it's not an apology directly to Katie Holmes, but he's acknowledging she had no part in it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, at that. Now, to be fair, the film wouldn't work if he was a complete fucking arsehole, or if they did some stupid twist at the end where it turned out he actually was like an axe murderer or something, and Kiefer Sutherland was punishing him. But like it is one of those things where I'm like, you know, David Fincher might have dug into the logic and eventually after 9 months gone, no, I can't make this film. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. And if we take that out, whereas Joel Schumacher is just like, movie in a phone booth. Oh, I'm in. Oh, I don't know why I made him a Cockney there for those some reason, but it's like just this will be entertaining, and that was the thought that went into it. And they like, oh yeah, sure, we'll see how it goes. Now, go on.
It was pretty much like, I mean, there's not a lot.
There's not much to talk about. It's 80 minutes including credits. So eventually, they do. They figure out kind of where Kiefer. You see, if the film had ended with Kiefer Sutherland being punished for being an arsehole to Colin Farrell, you'd be like, all right. But then the weird thing is, he did kill 2 people before. You're like, all right, yeah, you can see but like the vigilante thing or whatever, like killing the porn baron who was what was it? Was he in the human trafficking or something?
Yeah, something molesting girls. Or something.
And you're like, and the other guy fucked up. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, but then it kind of is neither fish nor fowl. Like if he'd killed like a bunch of people who were just like, what you mean? You're just some like lunatic who goes around.
The thing is, like John Kramer, I brought him up way too much now, but John Kramer, that type of. Because you look at things, you don't take you take life for granted, and now I'm going to make sure that I'm going to give you a chance to. Do you know what I mean? That's his whole shtick, but it's never things that are that bad. You're like, Jesus Christ, just let the man live. Like,
well, that's it. Yeah, if he'd have said, I killed this guy because he spilled coffee on me, or I did this, and I gave him a chance to apologize over the phone, you'd be like, all right, you're some fucking lunatic.
What's that Russell Crowe one where he kills his wife and then gets cut off in traffic?
Oh, is that the one where he did
Unhinged?
Yeah, did we talk about that where I think he was wearing a fat suit and you weren't so sure? That's how I remember we talked about that. But it's kind of neither or, because you're like, what he's doing to Colin Farrell is way OTT, but he doesn't seem to be consistently doing that, so it's a bit weird there. And then Colin Farrell is a decent guy.
And the thing is, what way did he? This is falling apart for me now. When he kills the two previous people, we see it, but they're out in the street. So how does he keep them locked in one position if he's in a window somewhere? Like,
I think with them he just called them. They seem to be called them on the mobiles. I don't know. Look, it was a gimmick for the film, and they made it work. But he seems inconsistent at the best of time. With them guys, is like just kill them. Like what the fuck? Whereas they just needed that to kind of show it's a thing, and he really might do this. He really might kill you. But yeah, the logic of that does fall apart. But the performance of it and the situation kind of keep it going. Yeah, because then basically it's all well done. Like if we're making it seem like the film is boring or there's filler, it doesn't feel that way.
No,
there isn't a lot to talk about.
I mean, like you said, it's actual runtime is probably about 75 minutes. Like, you know, it's quick. There's no meat on this bone. Like, you know what I mean?
And as I say, it never for a moment looks like a bit rushed, or they didn't get enough shots for that. I think there was one bit, and I can't even remember. I was like, they maybe needed an extra shot.
The only thing I think, and this is an issue that I have, is like, because obviously there's POV of Colin Farrell looking up, and as the film continues, it turns from clear frame, and it's all this kind of whatever effect is added to it or whatever.
It looks kind of like, yeah, there's an effect something there. Some of it's shot on like mini DV, which is very hip at the time, I think. There's some bits like that. Yeah, like there was bits, but like overall they just seemed, and it would have been film cameras and they filmed it in New York. And it was one of the things Joel Schumacher kept going on about, it was crazy and I was terrified. But fair play, like that's tricky, you know, and filming in real daylight, you know?
Yeah. And having another issue as well, so obviously he confesses all his sins, and he basically, Kiefer Sutherland tells him, I'm going to kill you anyway. Like this, you are never getting out of here.
He called up Kiefer Sutherland called up Colin Farrell's wife, and they were able to trace him off of that call because he hadn't bothered to fucking do whatever technical thing he was doing. The encryption. Yeah.
And so, but it turns out that he's going to kill him. And anyway, he was never getting out. So then he proceeds to Kiefer or Forrest Whitaker's character says, your lawyer's coming down now, i.e.
Yeah, that was the code,
Yeah, we've got him, we know where he is. And then so obviously Colin gets cocky and is like, fuck you and all this.
Yeah, which was a real stupid move.
They're coming up
considering the pressure he's under.
Right, but at this point, he still has a gun aimed at him, right? And he steps out and says, take me. Surely he would have just fucking shot him before the cop shot him with a rubber bullet. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he didn't go through with it makes me think, okay, was he gonna kill him? Or was he ever do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was always thinking like if he would be a man of his word, like the sniper, like the caller or whatever the name is, he would have let him go if he felt he'd, you know, because he does say that at the end, like he's like, oh, you did it, I'm surprised at you. He kept saying you're doing so well. So I kind of took him at his word, but it's hard to know. He
said that hopefully a newfound honesty lasts, so otherwise you'll be hearing from you again.
Yeah, he was awfully like, if you think about
I'll get you on the fax machine next time.
If you think about the logic of it, he had to know like, okay, I'll wait until he's just out of it enough with that morphine or whatever they get him, so he can't scream out that this is the murderer here in front of me before he goes, but look, it is a movie and you want that scene.
Yeah, that kind of annoys me because it's obviously the only time we get to see Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah. And it's all this fucking, obviously Joel Schumacher decided, he's woozy, and I didn't need that. Just give me clear frame. Like,
he does it like Kiefer Sutherland was good casting.
Yeah,
he had a good.
He's very good in it. Yeah, like I mean, even if it's not clear, completely clear what he's playing. I do think because although Colin Farrell's the only one on screen, it's been carried with the both of them. Like, do you know what I mean? Really.
Yeah, he's someone now. Just to harp on about him, I always liked Kiefer Sutherland for whatever reason. He's just great. Struck me as he. It was around this time. I don't know if it was just before this film or he. That was 24. 24. A lot of people talk about The Sopranos, but I remember 24 was like really the beginning of prestige television, where people like, holy fuck, what is this? This is as good as, and I don't think I've ever seen a fucking episode of it. Terrible. Yeah, I've never seen 24.
I've never seen 24.
Really? There you go. There we go. Podcasters.
That's why it's the cinema sessions, not the TV sessions.
Exactly, yeah. It was a phenomenon at the time, and that was really the beginning of.
I was always 24 adjacent. It was something.
You couldn't help but know about it.
Yeah, loads. I remember people talking about it and everything, but I just never sat down to watch it. And maybe I've seen bits and pieces.
I've seen bits and pieces, but no, it was a.
I've never finished The Sopranos either.
Yeah, it was The Sopranos, like
season 3. I got to
Sopranos. I don't want to downplay The Sopranos, but 24 was when I remember it being a huge buzz of like, what happened in television? Now maybe it was because Sopranos came first. It's like, oh, television did it again. But that was a phenomenon, that show. And did you ever see that film he did, Mirrors? Did you ever see that? It was a remake of a Korean horror film, like about evil people hiding in a mirror.
Sounds fantastic.
No, there's a scene in it where he's freaking out because this mirror is haunting his family, and he goes like, oh, and he grabs the mirror off his wall, brings it into his garden, in front garden. It is the USA now. Takes out his gun and shoots it like 10 times. I was like, who the fuck? I think it was some Johnny Foreigner who made it, who was like, in America, everyone shoots the guns in the front garden. Yes. Jesus Christ, it was fucking awful. But I always liked him. And do you know what I love? I love Pompeii. Did you ever see that?
No. Have you seen Designated Survivor?
I saw like an episode or two, and I
kind of
was lukewarm on it.
Like, yeah, it's just the premise is too much. Like,
it was a great premise now, I have to say. Yeah. But yeah, if you ever
Trio as well.
Huh?
Trio as well.
It's a true thing.
They have designated survivors, just in case everybody in the government is killed.
Fascinating. It is a good idea, but yeah, I remember an episode too. I was like, I'm all right. But if you ever watch Pompeii, it's just kind of good crack, and he plays this kind of mustache twirling kind of villain, and he's fucking really good. Like, I always liked him. But we don't digress because we're talking about something that's in this film. So the problem is, so at the end of the film, he kills this guy who he was kind of in cahoots with or something. It's unclear.
No, the pizza guy. He just ordered a pizza. Was he in cahoots with him?
Well, how did he end up in the apartment if he wasn't? I suppose he could have just ordered it and killed him on the side or something.
Yeah. He had to have been involved.
Yeah, I guess, because why else would he be in the apartment? So he killed him to kind of be the patsy for him.
Yeah, because now that it makes sense, I never actually put that together that he was in cahoots. I genuinely didn't, because he would have had to have been, because he didn't run out and grab him and kill him while the cops were coming up the stairs. He would have been there.
Yeah. Well, I liked as well, although even if it's a murder, like they break in and the place is full of fucking guns, and he's like, "Chief, we got him. Cut his own throat." Like,
that's where, he
put a fucking bullet.
Yeah, like he cut his own throat with a carver's knife or something.
Yeah, it's like, he hung himself from the rafters or something. You're like,
he shot himself twice in the head with a shotgun.
Like, did you ever see that spoof film Loaded Weapon?
Yeah.
They walk in, there's like 15 people dead all over the place, and Sam Jackson's like, "I don't know, this might look like suicide, but my gut is telling me." I did kind of laugh when he said that, because I was like, "What?
It's ridiculous.
Why the fuck would he do that if he guns galore around the place? It doesn't make any sense." It is a terrible topic to talk about. Anyway, look, he gets away at the end, and Jules shot. That was the other thing. I listened to the whole commentary, and like, apart from fair play to them for making it in 11 days, all Joel Schumacher ever really said was, "I got a lot of criticism for letting him go at the end, but it's nice." And he's like, "He's still out there, and he said, "That's just my style. If you don't like it, that's your problem." I'm like, "Oh, good for you, Joel." I like that. I like that attitude.
I'm not angry that he gets away. I don't like.
It doesn't bother me. The film just sets it up as, isn't this a bit of crack and he's still out there? There is no actual morality to him. Like, it's just, he's an arsehole who made an entertaining villain, and that's it. If the film had kind of played it off like, well, and he was the real moral arbiter at the end, I would have been pissed off, because I'm like, fuck that, no way. But it is just like, he's still out there.
Yeah, phone booth 2.
Yeah, electric fucking boo. They could actually do a sequel to this.
Wi-Fi down.
I could see this as being like a direct-to-video franchise or something.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch phone booth 2. Maybe not now, because Joel Schumacher
it depends who did it. Yeah, who the actor was.
Colin Farrell 20 years later. Like, yeah, it could be good.
There you go, yeah.
He's stepped out on Adam Mitchell one too many times again.
What would they do in the legacy sequel thing now? He'd be a destroyed man living in a bedsit or something like that. I think like they do to all our male heroes. Am I right, guys? Yeah. The woke agenda. Down with that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, that could be interesting, man. I'm thinking about it now. Yeah,
I think I'd actually kind of watch that if Colin Farrell got back, or if they got another new. I wouldn't watch Timothée Chalamet doing it, to be honest now. But
Timothée Chalamet would look too young, because Timothée Chalamet is older than Colin Farrell is in this.
I know,
and he looks
crazy
12 years younger. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I still haven't seen Marty Supreme, which I think
very
is
good.
Where you'd see the best side of him.
It's very
I've liked everything I saw him in. I'm like, very good actor. Very good actor. Apparently Mel Gibson was up for this, which I could kind of see. I could see Mel Gibson playing Stu. I could see that. I remember reading that somewhere.
He would have been well on then at that stage anyway, would he?
He would have been
50?
40 something. I don't think he would have been quite pushing 50. Would have been mid 40s. I could kind of see that as like the career guy, cheating on his. It wouldn't maybe have the same job exactly, but it'd be something like that. I could see him being interested. But having said that,
was this around the time he got drunk in the back of a cab?
It was just when was Passion? Yeah, it was.
It was, yeah. So
it would have been affordable, yeah.
Got him on the cheap.
Yeah, look, because it's interesting. That would have been my hats off to one of our own Colin
They wouldn't
Farrell.
have got the weather though if Mel Gibson was in it.
That's true, yeah.
It's a deep cut. Anybody who got that, let me know in the comments.
Colin Farrell is the deepest of deep, because you have to be really into the podcast to get that one. Colin Farrell is fantastic. Like, he was making a lot of buzz. He was a movie star.
He was an up and comer.
Yeah.
Even I remember being even young, you knew who Colin Farrell was, and if my dad hated him, usually
really,
yeah. My dad's typical tall poppy syndrome, like, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Nation of begrudgers, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
God
Well,
bless.
we're all at that, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, he was excellent, and I remember, like, stuff like this is the kind of thing it's unfortunate they don't really do anymore. Because even at the time, he did this, which is like at least interesting, and then he was in shite like fucking SWAT. There's going to be some guys going, "Oh, I thought SWAT was totally fine," but like you can kind of get any kind of actor to do that.
But it's mental. Like it takes so long to set up the SWAT team. And then it's like the last 15 minutes is the only part of the film that's...
I can't even I can barely remember. I just remember being thoroughly whelmed by it because it was so middle of the road. Jeremy Renner was in it as well.
Yeah, he's bad guy.
I was noticing him, yeah.
Sam Jackson is not good, man.
Sam,
he's very stock, like.
Isn't it? Who's the token woman on the team? So that's
Michelle Rodriguez.
It was, yeah.
Lita fame. Is that her name, isn't it? Lita in Fast and Furious.
Is she? I've seen
all 10.
They're 10 now.
Yeah, well, I think so. No,
Welcome
10
to
is coming out.
Sessions. I don't even know how many. Well, if you count the fucking spin-offs, maybe, or all that. No, I think it is up to 10.
Yeah, Fast X is coming out next year.
Anyway.
And they're bringing Paul Walker back from the dead. They're going to have his brother play him and put his CGI, like, his face on.
I don't know what to do with that, Keith. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was depressed enough at the start of this, and now at the end. So is this a film that still lives in the consciousness? Phone Booth.
I don't think so.
I think it has a little more than you might think.
It might have a cult-ish following.
It's a good. I think you're right, but in the other way, I'm like, I think my thing is.
Is this something that everybody's seen?
I think it kind of is, or something everyone our age kind of remembers.
Because I'd imagine it's our age. People remember it, but so we were talking about people remembering this, the magic of editing. Does this live in the consciousness? And I don't know if it does. And do you know why I think it doesn't? I don't remember ever seeing this on TV ever.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Even here, like, whereas
Jesus.
You think with Colin Farrell, it'd be on, like, do you know what I mean? But I don't remember ever seeing this on the telly, which is something that it's not a guaranteed barometer of whether a film lives in the consciousness or not, whether it's on telly, but. Sometimes the biggest ones are. Do you know what I mean?
Fascinating. Yeah, I hadn't really, because I don't watch television, fucking spoiler anymore. But that is interesting. I don't ever remember seeing it like that. I saw it on the DVD, and I think that was it. And then
I saw it in the cinema, and then I had it on DVD.
Yeah. I wonder but like the problem is for Colin Farrell, like now in hindsight, at the time he was like, oh, he's in another film, but now it's like not a lot of them live on. So I think this is just kind of like who talks about SWAT at all? Like
you talk about generational runs, like, do you know what I mean? Like, say for instance, we were speaking last week about Josh Brolin and his run in 2007. Like, Colin Farrell has never had that.
No, and so fortunate as well because
he's a good actor.
He was great in Minority Report. He was brilliant in Minority Report.
Yeah, he's very good.
That,
but that's not him carrying that film. Do you know what I mean? It's
and he really does carry this, and that's not easy. Like for what it is, like it's one guy in a fucking phone booth, and he carries it, and he's very charismatic. It's a character that could have been very unlikable, and it's not. And it's just he's a very good actor. He's done some very good films, but although I am standalone, I don't particularly like In Bruges. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot then. I cancel the podcast.
I disagree. I think that I am a genius, and anyone who likes
I'm a genius
is horribly misguided if you like that film.
I think
I saw one of that guy's because friends of mine are big into the theater, and I even went to see one of his plays, and I was like, okay, I see the same sensibility, and I just don't jive with his sensibility.
Mark McDonagh.
Yeah, there's something, and I'm not knocking him because
what's that one coming out now? Here's another one coming out with John Malkovich and Sam Rockwell. Yeah,
jeez, right.
It looks really fucking good, but again, it is that kind of sensibility. It does give.
It really, and when I say, if I said it was bad, I should say I don't like it. I don't think it's bad, but it is. I'm just like, that's just.
I think Ray Fiennes brilliant in it as well.
Yeah, he was too Don Logan.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But enough alienating me from 90% of our audience as usual. What would your non-submersible units from this be? This is tricky.
I think the part in the phone booth.
Yeah, the fact it's all in the phone booth.
No, I think if I'm something, I have to be honest. Colin Farrell carries this film, no question, right? But I done sprained me dick hand. I swear to you, she's so memorable.
She's brilliant.
And she's perfect. Do you know what I mean? She brings levity. She brings a comic relief.
No, she was brilliant.
And she just plays it brilliant. Because when you think of a hooker in America walking the streets, that's what you think of. Like, do you know what I mean?
Fair point.
And I genuinely, like, that's what I'll never forget that.
No, she was brilliant, yeah. Rada Mitchell, fancier. 3 out of 5 for me. 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, Trey. I think Trey, middle of the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have been exhilarating, but again, it's almost like they didn't try to do that, or they couldn't.
Yeah, I kind of suspect they couldn't. I think if they'd have drilled down and really tried to make it like brilliant, I think that might have fucked it up. Funny enough, I think it's something that Joel Schumacher was kind of the perfect guy for it, where he didn't want to like...
He'd make something, he'd produce something.
Yeah, he didn't want to look into things that are like, no, it should just be a bit of crack. Like, whereas if Kiefer Sutherland had ironically been a little more consistent, I think the film wouldn't have been as entertaining because it couldn't have gone to these kind of things. So rest in peace, Joel Schumacher.
And the 10,000 Men.
Yeah, I do want to say, he made some film with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins. I think.
Bad Company.
Yes.
I love that film.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
I didn't even know that was Joel Schumacher.
The first time around I went to college, one of the teachers, he knew someone who was like an extra in it, who was someone who gets killed by a sniper or something. And he said, my friend was there, and Joel Schumacher came and was like, it's going to be wonderful, my dear. There's going to be blood flying everywhere. And there was like strippers in the scene. He goes, there's going to be blood flying everywhere, all over their tits. And it was like, that's Joel Schumacher in a nutshell. Won't that make an interesting image? I saw it like ages ago, and I remember being impressed at how well made it was.
It's very good.
He's a brilliant director. He's a really great like physical action director, Joel Schumacher. Brilliant. Lost Boys, I think that might be my favorite out of all the stuff that I've seen. Really, and I didn't grow up with it like some other people did. That's
one of them,
great.
where it seems like it's people who love it tend to love it from childhood.
Yeah. No, it's
because I wouldn't be a big fan of the Lost Boys, but I saw it when I was 25. Like I was not the demographic. Like
I did. I might actually. I did. I grew up now with A Time to Kill, which is still. I haven't rewatched
that. Sandy Bullock.
Yeah, that is his. Yeah, that's his sensibility in a nutshell. Though, is basically like, well, so what if he killed them? They were racist. Fuck them. Like that's all the thought he would have given to it, and you're like, yeah, well, you chose the right script because you get away with that, like, you know. But rest in peace.
Yeah, no,
Mr. Schumacher. And Colin, we love you, baby.
Yeah, always, Colin. Yeah.
From just up the street, because you don't know where we're recording this in Dublin, so that could be true.
Yeah. Castle Knock, stand up. Right, so I think that's it for another week.
Let's stick a fork in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Join it. What do you think of Phone Book, guys? Do you remember it well, or
do you not remember it at all?
Is it an obscurity in history? Let us know.
And remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Send along to a friend, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out.
Fucking neck. I've been looking like this the whole time. Oh no.